right now, we're going to welcome an old friend of the program, Tim Aschoff, president of Schaefer and chief operating officer at Crete. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Dave. Great to be here. It's a beautiful day in Nebraska.
Fantastic. You guys have been through the mill this spring, haven't you?
We have. We've had our extremes of weather, and it's nice to see a nice sunny morning here.
All right. Well, we'll keep it as sunny as we can for as long as we can. And I'd like you to introduce Charles to us, if you would.
Well, it's a privilege and an honor for me to introduce Charles. Charles is one of the inaugural drivers of our Patriot Fleet. Charles is from Clarksville, Tennessee. He's been with us for since 2008 and has a 11-year safe driving award. But probably more importantly is that he's a 17-year Navy vet, a father, and a grandfather.
Wow, that's quite a resume, Charles. Hey, good morning, man. Welcome to the program.
Oh, good morning, Dave, and it's so nice to talk to you. I used to listen to you on 870 there late at night.
Well, you do go back then, don't you?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I'm surprised either one of us can remember back that far. So you out now, and we're going to talk about the overall Patriot truck fleet because Crete, Schaefer, and Hunt all have trucks, but you're on with Crete. So tell us about the day you got your truck.
Oh, it was really an awesome day. You see pictures of things sometimes, but when you see the truck, it just took my breath away. It just made me feel really good to know that my company supports the veterans like it does. But when you look at the truck on the side there, we got all the services covered: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. We wanted to say thank you for a job well done. And on the top of the truck, we have the eagle, our representative of freedom. And that day that I got it, I was really thrilled and really thankful to get in it and drive it. And the many amazing things have happened since then, meeting veterans and different people, young and old alike.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, we're going to get back to you because you've done a lot of things with the truck besides just hauling freight, I would imagine. But just recently, Tim, you guys added another 5 Patriot Fleet trucks, and this time on at Hunt Transportation.
We did that right before the 4th of July, a great time of year to honor our veterans. And, we started the Patriot Fleet program over 4 years ago. There are many out there today, but we were one of the original ones out there. And we had a goal of not just creating, a show truck, but truly a truck that honors veterans, meaning one that is out there on the road helping move freight around the country with great drivers like Charles, and to be out in front of the public and to show them, that we truly need to remember every day and everything we do in every walk of life what it means to have our freedom and the people that have served the country to give us that freedom. And, Charles and I were talking this morning, and he gave me a great reminder saying, on the 4th of July, he always thinks about those founding fathers that signed that Declaration of Independence, and at that time very well knew they could be signing their death warrants because they would have to defend that signature they were putting on what then was a piece of paper, but certainly means a lot more to all of us today.
I interviewed some book authors a few years back, and the name of their book was Signing Their Lives Away. And you're absolutely right, Tim. It was about the bad things that happened to the men who stood up and did sign the Declaration of Independence, and what they went through, what their families went through in terms of houses being burned, that whole thing. It was a really ugly period, wasn't it?
Indeed, and what we forget today is we take so much of that for granted, and that's exactly, I think, what we try to accomplish with the Patriot Fleet, is to have that reminder, and not only with the 20 trucks we have out there on Crete, Schaefer, and Hunt, but each one of our veteran drivers, we put a Patriot Fleet emblem on the side of their trucks as well. So, we have literally thousands of trucks out there reminding all of the Americans as they go down the road that they were a veteran, and it's because of what they've done for us that we all get to drive down the highways each and every day.
Now, when you and I talked in our June program, Tim, you had said that coming up on July 1st, you would christen, I guess you might say, the new Patriot Fleet trucks for Hunt. Where did that take place? And tell us a little bit about that day.
It was a great day. It took place at Omaha, Nebraska, which is Hunt Transportation headquarters, and we had 5 very proud drivers. We were able to give 5 brand new Freightliner Patriot Fleet trucks with, again, the emblems that Carl mentioned, but also on the side of each one of these trucks is we have a big dog tag, and that dog tag states what each driver has done, not only for the service of their country, but then for the service of the entire country as a truck driver. So we have their military service on there, their years of service, their branch, and then we have the number of years they've been driving as a driver, not only for Crete, Schaefer, or Hunt, but in the industry, because we recognize that a lot of drivers out there have been in the industry a long time. We like all the great ones to come to Crete, Schaefer, and Hunt, but certainly know they've served the country for others as well, and so we want to recognize that. And it was a great day, and for Hunt Transportation in particular, over 50% of our drivers have current or former military service. So that's a part of our family that's particularly focused on the military.
The dog tags, and of course, I think the dog tags are on all. Are they on all 20 trucks? I know the Crete trucks have them. The Hunt trucks, I would imagine the Schaefers do too. I haven't seen one of those yet, but the dog tags, very cool indeed.
Yes, they are on those, and I can maybe let Charles describe what's on his and what that means to him and some of the comments he's got on those going down the road.
Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, well, mine, I've accomplished over 2 million miles since I've been on the road. I retired from the Navy in '96 and started driving out here, and my total time I've accomplished over 2 million miles, and all that's on my dog tags and my years of service in the United States Navy, the world's greatest Navy, and that's on there.
I got you.
Yeah.
Tim, one of the things that, and I'm not going to detour the conversation here because we still have a lot to talk about in terms of the fleet itself and military entrance into the trucking business, especially at your companies. But one of the things that trucking has always been concerned with, it's something that even from the early 70s, and Charles will attest to this, we've been really concerned about this on the radio, and I know the industry has been concerned with the image of trucking and getting that the truth behind the image of trucking out to the general public. Was there a lot of media coverage on the first in Omaha?
There was, not only locally amongst the TV and radio stations, newspaper, but also, some of the national lines picked that up. And you're right, that's great. What we need is, a lot of people in our industry recognize, I know Charles gets a lot of input from other drivers on the road out there and recognize, the service not only that he's done to the U.S. Navy, but as a truck driver. But, people outside of the trucking industry don't always recognize the sacrifices that the over-the-road drivers do go through away from their families. I was just talking with Charles here. He loves to get home and see his granddaughter when he's back in Tennessee. And I think so many of us take for granted as we're going down the highway, going down the interstate, that those drivers in the trucks next to us are really making us tick as a country, that critical freight line that keeps our commerce going, but they're sacrificing something for that. And we always have a tendency in the news to hear the things that go wrong and never the things that go right. So it was a great positive news story, not just for veterans, but for trucking in general.
Indeed. Tim, you guys have military trainers that work to transition veterans into the company or into the industry too at large. They kind of ease that along. Tell us a little bit about that program and how that's going.
We do, and what we found over the years is that it's great to pair up a new entrant in the industry, particularly those with a veteran, with a like-minded, like-experienced individual. And Charles is actually one of those trainers as well, and he can attest to that. That when we put somebody leaving the military out on the road with a trainer that has that same experience and knows what the other person in the truck has been trained on for years and how they think and how their life has been, it's a lot better learning experience for both of them. Oftentimes they learn from each other, but just a general overall experience, and so that's been valuable. And one of the things we've paired that with is that we are certified VA on-the-job training program, which allows any of the candidates for us that are leaving the military that have post 9/11 or GI Bill benefits, up to 12 months of those benefits can be used while training and driving here at Crete, Schaefer, or Hunt.
Indeed. And in my own experience, when I came out of the Army in the early 70s, I used my GI Bill. I had a degree in broadcasting, but didn't have a license, believe it. Well, I didn't have a first-class license. You don't even need it anymore. But I used the GI Bill to do that. And, man, it made all the difference in the world. You're making a lot of difference for a lot of folks. But a lot of folks, you guys got, 30+% of employees who are either current or prior military. That's quite a percentage.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're really proud of. It's one thing to say you support veterans. It's another thing to do it, and I think our numbers prove that with the number of employees that we do have that are current or prior military, along with the number of recognition that we've received. We've been the American Legion Large Employer of the Year before. We've been recognized by Civilian Jobs and GI Jobs as the most valuable military employer for multiple years. We received the Patria Award from the Employer Supported Guard and Reserve. So, I don't list those off just to kind of to pound our chest here at all, but to really show, to win those awards, you have to walk the walk, and that's one thing that I'm so proud of. One thing that maybe in life that I didn't do that I look back and say I wish I would is be a member of the military, but certainly I grew up learning what that meant. I had an uncle in World War II. I had an uncle in the Korean War. My father was drafted for the Cuban Missile Crisis. I had my father-in-law was in Vietnam, and I've currently got my brother-in-law in Kuwait. So certainly know what it means to serve and have a great deal of respect for those that do.
Wow, yeah, I got you. Charles, a lot of, kind of getting back to the military trainers working with veterans, in a sense, you kind of speak a different language, or they understand kind of a different language. You can cut to the chase, so to speak, with a lot of those folks, because if you have had that shared experience, excuse me, you can talk to them in terms that they understand. And I go back to my own experience coming out of the Army and going to electronics school. Most of the guys, this is the Vietnam era, so most of the guys were veterans, and there was kind of a different cadre there, I guess you might say, and almost a different way of communicating. Do you find that to be the case with the drivers coming out of the military now at Crete, Schaefer, or at Hunt? Of course, you're at Crete.
Yes, sir, I sure do. And I also train on Schaefer's side, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But,
okay.
First and foremost, I want to thank you for your service and for what you've done for our country there, Dave. And
no. I only mention that because we have those parallel experiences,
Mm-hmm. Well, yourself when you meet a fellow veteran that you have that kind of an instant camaraderie, and I think that's what helps us out here as a trainer whenever a fellow veteran comes out. And I've trained a guy about a year ago for an Army. His name is Carl Skelton, and I ran into him not too long ago, and he's still going strong out here. And the first thing you do, you got that instant camaraderie, so you're able to connect. And I don't know about you, but when I first got out of the Navy, the hardest thing for me was to figure out what to wear every day. They always tell us
the haircut didn't help either, did it?
The haircut didn't help neither. Yeah, that's right. That was the first thing I was going to do was grow my hair out, and I tried that, and I got to cut it off in about 3 months, But we have that certain instant camaraderie, and yeah, we do. We can relate to one another because we've both been in the military. And you got that structure. You live a structured life for so long, and that's one thing that's great about Crete and Schaefer here is structured. Is set up in a way to where you do the same thing every day, and you know what to expect. And when you know what to expect, you can do it well.
Well, that plays right into the military discipline aspect of it, Tim. I mean, that's what the military is all about: structure, routine, if you will, and Hopefully not too much hurry up and wait, but that does happen too. But I think, Charles makes a real good point there.
He does, and obviously one of the things that is so important to us and all that are out there on the road is safety, and having that structure and discipline not only helps you with what it takes to be a part of that larger logistics system, because it is a process, it is a system, knowing what to do, how to manage dispatches and manage your time and have that structure. But also, it's very important to have that for safety, because everything a driver does out there, from starting their day with a good pre-trip inspection, following that list on what you need to do every morning when you're starting your day, to being out on the road and being aware of your surroundings and being aware of others and what could be a potential threat. Just as I think people have so much learned that way of thinking in the military, we think is very good then for drivers to become some of the best drivers out there on the road, not only for us but for a lot of other good trucking companies out there.
Wow, you make a really good point. And to kind of do another parallel here, Charles, you don't have to have been a combat veteran to understand that decisions always, in many cases, have life or death implications. Combat and non-combat veterans understand that part of the training, and in many cases part of their own personal experience. And I think that they might have a better understanding of that same principle of, one little move here in this heavy traffic could mean a life or death situation. So they're kind of on that same plane, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a fact, because you live so many years when you're in the military, being alert and live in safety. And that's the main thing out here on the road is safety first and foremost. And then you watch for those things that may happen so you can be prepared for them and prevent it.
I'm looking at the Facebook page, Tim. Very cool. It's facebook.com/simply the Patriot Fleet, all one word. It'll take you to the site. Got those new Hunt flatbed tractors there, the beautiful maroon trucks, and as you scroll down, you'll see some more too. There's a Crete, the blue Crete, in a parade. What is the do these trucks actually haul regular freight, or are they really assigned to more of the event type, or is it a combination?
It's kind of a combination, Dave, but I still, knock out my miles every week. I'm on the road, and the neat thing about that is that takes me different places. The other day I was out in California, and this lady walked over, and she had her iPad, started taking pictures of the truck, and she had her husband and a son with her. Actually, they're on their Facebook there. Her name was Rosie. If you look, you'll find her. And she was telling me that her husband and sons and lots of her family was in the military, and she just really, was impressed with the truck and what it stands for and all that, So traveling around the country delivering freight, I go to all the customers, but I also do other things. I take time. I got a fourth grade class here in Lincoln, Nebraska that I correspond with and stuff, and I take the truck by there once a year and show the kids and things like that. So.
Well, you know what? You answered my next question already, because I was going to ask you what reaction you get from the public. And Tim, I would imagine that you could probably parallel that hundreds of times in terms of what the other 19 get from the public when they're out there on the road.
Yeah, it's an amazing reaction, and it's always great to see. Again, that means for us it is fulfilling a key part of its purpose, and that is the awareness and the recognition for the veterans and that act of thanks, which is often what the drivers tell me they get. And then what's also so great as a company is the phone calls and letters we receive from the public about it. And probably closer to the trucking industry is a number of our customers and the shippers and receivers are out there. So many of their employees are also veterans, and we get the thanks from those people, from working on the docks and the guard shacks and everything else, saying, we really do appreciate, seeing those trucks roll in here as part of our industry. recognizing us for what we've done each and every day as well. So it's a great combination of again, as I mentioned, kind of being a true work truck out there, out on the road, serving its purpose, but then also participating as we can to support other great causes such as Wreaths Across America and some Veterans Day and July 4th and other events that are more significant, and we should all participate in as much as practical.
You did not. You did not intend for this call to be talking about awards. You win them, but that is definitely not what you're about here. But I do want to mention one more award, and that's the Nebraska Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, the ESGR Award, the Pro Patria Award. That's got to probably mean more than anything else.
That was a very, very proud moment for us. It's not only recognition of what we're doing for those that had been in the military service in the past, but those that are in current service. And that is the Guard and Reserve. Sometimes we don't all recognize what it takes for those members to really do what they do, to work the regular work day in and day out, and then take their weekends and then some of their summers to do that job, and then to be known that they can be called up on a moment's notice and have to leave their family and their regular life. And that is a very still critical part of our overall military. And we have a number of those employees here and across the whole United States, and recognize the challenges that faces. And it was such a great honor for us then to be recognized for our support of those people as a company, and certainly makes me proud as a individual and a member of the senior management team of a company that is able to do that.
Hey, we are proud to have you guys as sponsors. Tim Aschoff, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us on, and I'd just like to say again, thanks to Charles and all of our Patriot drivers and all veterans out there on the road. Thank you for a great 4th of July.
Godspeed, Charles. And I found Rosie's picture. We'll talk to you guys later.
Nice talking to you, Dave.